What's going on, guys, and welcome to today's video. And I don't really know how this is going to be titled, but you have to buy this Mopar part to not kill your engine. And what we're talking about is the thermostat. Now, you might be saying, well, what are you talking about? Now, the 3.6 liters have a kind of often check engine light when it starts getting cold. We will often set a P0128 check engine light code for thermostat rationality, and that's not just specific to the 3.6 liter. That is a generic code that can be on any make and model. But specifically for the 3.6 liter, we do see it more often than any of our other engines at the dealership. So typically, you would replace the thermostat and on you would go with life, and that's what you need to do in this case. But specifically on the 3.6 liter, you have to put a Mopar thermostat. And you might be, again, saying, well, why? Why? I can go down to O'Reilly's or AutoZone and buy a Murray, buy a, Gates, there's a whole plethora of aftermarket thermostats that you can buy for considerably cheaper than the factory Mopar thermostat. But what we've been finding at the dealership is almost all of those aftermarket thermostats have a 100% fail rate, and they are failing closed and causing your 3.6 liter to overheat, warp heads, take out head gaskets, and cause massive amounts of engine cost or repair when we have to pull the cylinder heads off, replace head gaskets and or cylinder heads. So if you have previously replaced your thermostat on your 3.6 liter, again, right now we're under the hood of a Journey, but Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, literally anything with the 3.6 liter, if you don't have a Mopar thermostat on the thing, please go order yourself a Mopar thermostat and get that thing replaced, even if yours is not overheating. Now, this also goes for people that have bought their, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge used. And again, you probably haven't had any issues, but go ahead and look under the hood. Look at that thermostat. Normally, they will have the brand logo on the thermostat neck. If that thing says Gates, Murray, literally anything other than the Mopar thermostat, I would personally replace it before you are having us at the dealership putting your engine back together. It was a year or so ago, Mopar had a massive back order on thermostats, along with many other parts. So we at the dealership were having to use aftermarket thermostats to, put into these vehicles to fix that thermostat rationality code. And almost every single one of those in the previous or the following years have come back with issues, whether that was an overheating issue, a thermostat code, etc. But Mopar was finally able to get their act together and get parts supplier and get them back in stock. And now we actually are able to, of course, put on the correct Mopar thermostats. We'll also often see head gasket or head warpage issues on 3.6 liters, whether that's in a truck, a Jeep, whatever. And you will often, or almost every single time, go look at the thermostat and again find an aftermarket thermostat. So again, I'm doing a whole bunch of preaching here, but the fact of the matter is we see almost all those aftermarket thermostats fail, and when they fail closed, which is absolutely not what you want on a thermostat. So this thing has a P0128 thermostat rationality code. Intermittently, it comes on and off. When it gets really cold outside, it comes on. But this thing doesn't overheat, and that's because it still has a Mopar thermostat. So I'm not saying the Mopar thermostats are a perfect part, because we still have issues, but when they do fail, they do not fail closed. They take longer than they should to warm up, so they must be opening too soon, and again, causing that thermostat rationality code, because I do not think we've ever had a Mopar thermostat equipped Jeep with an overheating issue, just obviously that check engine light. So Now, I can't really put the part number for the correct thermostat down in the description because there are a whole bunch of different thermostats. Again, whether that's on a Jeep Wrangler, a Ram truck, a Dodge Journey, a Caravan, again, they're all going to be slightly different part numbers because some of them are slightly different shapes. So again, you will just need to call your dealership with your VIN number and run that by them so they can get you the correct part number and or thermostat. So now that we've got all of that out of the way, we're going to throw the new thermostat in this Dodge Journey with the 3.6 liter. Now, luckily, our thermostats are normally very nice and easy to get to, easy to service, easy to replace. So the extent of our tools that you will need is a 10mm socket of some sort. Again, on this Journey front-wheel drive platform, they're a little less fun to get to versus a Wrangler or a Ram, which they are right there on the front of the motor. So I've got a little 10mm wobble socket on a short 3-inch extension. We've got a ratchet, whether that be a manual hand ratchet or a powered power tool ratchet. And then again, you will need a pair of pliers to remove the spring type hose clamp. I've got a fancy set of hose clamp pliers that work really nice, but again, you don't need these. You can just use a normal set of pliers and remove that hose clamp. Now, last but not least, again, this is not required, but it does make it a little bit less messy. These are a set of coolant or heater hose pinch off pliers. These are a pair of pliers that you can put around a hose, squeeze them down, and it prevents coolant flow from going through that hose. So we're going to put that on this upper radiator hose, and again, we'll prevent some of our coolant loss from pouring all over the ground. You'll still make a massive mess regardless if you have these or not, so it's not that big of a deal, but it does help save a little bit of coolant to stay in that motor. Now again, parts, like we already said, that Mopar thermostat. Now, if you are looking on your current vehicle to see if you have a Mopar thermostat in it, these are unfortunately going to have the Mopar logo normally on the bottom of them, so that's going to be hard to see, but the manufacturer that makes the Mopar thermostats is BEHR, however you would pronounce that. I'll try to get a close-up here. There we go. That is the brand who produces Mopar thermostat. So if you've got this BEHR logo text lettering on your thermostat, you more than likely have a Mopar factory thermostat. Again, there on the bottom, we can see the Mopar Pinistar logo with our Mopar part number. Made in Mexico, but again, this in the vehicle, you're never going to be able to see the bottom. But if you've got that logo there, then you know you have a factory one already on the vehicle. And if you don't have a check engine light, then absolutely leave it in the vehicle. It's totally fine. But if you're looking at this area and seeing, again, all of those other brands that you would buy at AutoZone, O'Reilly's, what have you, if it were mine, I would want that off the vehicle as quick as possible. Okay guys, so I do have a oil catch pan underneath this thing because we are going to drop some coolant on the ground when we pull this apart. First thing I normally like to do is try to get the hose clamp removed, slid back out of the way, so we will be able to make a quicker swap once we actually get this thermostat unbolted. And I hope you guys are able to see what I'm doing with this camera angle. Now that we've got that hose clamp undone and slid back out of the way, again, this is optional. It's not really needed, but it does help save a little bit of coolant from running out of the motor. I'm going to throw these pinch off pliers on our upper radiator hose and get that pinched off. So we, again, have a little bit less coolant pouring all over the ground. Now we've got two 10mm bolts that hold the thermostat onto the front timing cover, one here down below and then one up top that you can see. Again, normally in a rear wheel drive application, this thing is sitting nice and front and center on the motor, and it's super easy to get to. On a front wheel drive platform, the lower bolt's kind of hidden, so you're doing it by feel. With both of our bolts out now, we are ready to finally make a big mess under the vehicle and all over the floor. So I like to have my new thermostat at the ready, nice and easily accessible, so I can pull the upper radiator hose up, get the thermostat kind of twisted, removed, slide the new one in, and try to get everything back together in a very timely manner to prevent as much fluid dump as possible. Now, one thing you do need to kind of watch for as you are removing the old thermostat is the gasket. The gasket will stick onto the front timing cover about 100% of the time. So keep that in mind as you are swapping these to get that gasket off and out of the way. With the old thermostat out, we can get our new one slid into place, and don't even worry about the clamp right now. All we need to be quickly worrying about is getting that new thermostat in place, and then we can start getting our bolts threaded into place. And again, a rear-wheel drive platform is going to be miles and miles nicer to do than this front-wheel drive platform. Now that we've got both of the upper and lower thermostat bolts started by hand, we can go ahead and snug them up. Now, keep in mind, these are going into a plastic housing on the timing cover. So be mindful, don't over torque them. I have seen guys break off bolts into the timing cover, and then you're into a real bad day. With both of our bolts now tightened down, we are going to be able to, again, remove our pinch-off pliers if you have those installed. Make sure our upper radiator hose is positioned correctly on that thermostat, and then we can go ahead and slide our hose clamp back up into place. Now, I did forget one last tool here is a Phillips screwdriver. That is the bleeder screw here on the top of the thermostats. We're going to need to back that bleeder screw off so we can start filling coolant in our coolant jug. And then once we've got coolant pouring out, we can go ahead and tighten our bleeder down, correct our coolant level in the jug, and we will be done. Again, we pulled the cap off the jug and we loosened our bleeder screw down here on the thermostat until we've got a decent steady stream pouring out. Once we've got a stream coming out with no more bubbles, we should be good to tighten our bleeder screw and top off the coolant in the jug. Now, do be careful when you are tightening that bleeder screw down. It is a plastic screw going into a plastic housing, and again, you can break it and cause yourself a bad day. So guys, just like that, we've got a new Mopar, most importantly, thermostat installed on this 3.6 liter. Now, last two things we need to do is give the engine bay a cleaning, whether that's a garden hose, a power washer, what have you, to get all of that coolant cleaned off of the belts, pulleys, and all of the front end accessories. And last but not least, taking your code reader and clearing that check engine light code. Again, it's not really necessary, but you might as well have that code gone and out of the system. So guys, hopefully this was informative on whether you need to replace your thermostat, or if you've already replaced your thermostat with an aftermarket thermostat of literally any brand. I would highly, highly recommend you replacing it with a Mopar. I know it feels bad spending more money on a part that you've already bought, but I've seen way too many come into the shop with overheat issues, with, head gaskets and heads needing replaced due to warped, overheated and warped cylinder heads. So I probably sound like a broken record here and have repeated myself about 20 times. I just really, really don't want to see you guys having to do what we often have to do at the shop and replace cylinder heads and gaskets because of a $100 thermostat that caused the whole thing to go bad. So do yourself a favor, and next time you're under the hood, take a quick gander and make sure you can either see the Mopar Pinistar logo or that BEHR branding on your current thermostat, and then you know you're pretty darn safe. But if you've got Gates, Stamp, Murray, any of those, I would, again, call up your Mopar dealer and go grab one and throw it on next time when you have some time. So guys, thanks for coming out into the garage with me today and hopefully saving your personal 3.6 liter. And this one's hopefully going to be ready for a lot more miles down the road. All right, guys, like I always say, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.